What's going on, everybody? American Football Network here. And today I'm joined by Chicago Sports Network, and we have a Steelers guest with us, Colin. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Help us reach 600 subs by the end of January. I know Rackley's got some goals of his. I know Colin doesn't have a YouTube channel, but hopefully we're going to have him on with us more throughout this. So, make sure you guys check all that out. Check out the description where you get links to the podcast, the website, the Patreon page, and other ways to support the show. All the money that you guys donate to us to help support the show goes right back into the channel. We're hoping to get StreamYard Premium pretty soon, so help us out definitely with that. Any opening thoughts from you?
No, not from me. Glad to have Colin here to be able to talk about the Steelers football team. Really glad to be able to see what happens this offseason. Unfortunately, the Steelers robbed us of our almost kind of first-round pick. So let's go ahead and get started, get into this draft.
Let's go. So we're going to be using Colin's picks here as for the mock draft, but we're all going to give our opinion on who we think should go. Obviously, we're not doing any trades.
Okay, wait a second. Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud are still available.
Gosh. So, Colin, go ahead and tell us who you think the Steelers should pick here at 17. You can feel free to scroll and see who's available. I think I know who I would go with here.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Scroll up. You can pick on positions and stuff, too, if you want to look at a certain position. Right there, you can pick positions.
All right. If I'm being completely honest with y'all guys, from what I see here, I think Broderick Jones would be a pretty well pick. He's a very versatile offensive tackle when he played at Georgia, and that's really what the Steelers need right now.
Yeah, my personal opinion is it kind of depends on how much you feel the need for offensive line is. Like, I personally think that, like, Jackson Smith and Jigba, if you think that he is another steal like George Pickens was last year, he'd be a good pick. But I think offensive line, I'm a Bears fan. I think that the trenches is really important. So I like the pick of Broderick Jones.
Yeah, I like that pick, but I would go a different way here. I would go with Cam Smith, the corner from South Carolina. I think this is a guy much like the Panthers' star cornerback as a rookie at J.C. Horn. I think he's a very good corner, a shutdown guy, a guy that you can put out on an island, but also has some experience in playing zone as well out there. I think he's a guy that could come in and instantly make an impact with you. But we are going to go with Broderick Jones here for this pick, as we're going by Colin's picks here since he is our Steelers guest. And next up is the 32nd pick. So who do you think they should go with here at 32?
As we were very lucky, as he explained, as a Bears fan, they gave us the 32nd pick with the Dolphins being forfeited a pick. And I would say we would probably go, if I can find him. Let's see if I can find him. There he is. I think we would go Emmanuel Forbes at 32. He is a very good man corner, and we are the 5th highest rated man coverage in the NFL. So I really think that would be a great pick for what we run.
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, I think that'd be a good pick. So who do you think they should go with this pick?
If I'm going to pick, I like safety. I don't think it's a positional need.
I don't either.
Drew
Although I do
Sanders,
like both of those safeties up there.
If you think you need an inside linebacker, I know that's one of the positions that you talked about, but Drew Sanders also is somewhat of an outside guy. But really, I do like the pick of Emmanuel Forbes.
I do too, especially when you talk about the man coverage for the Steelers. I think that Emmanuel Forbes is a great man corner, much like Martin Emerson that we saw at Mississippi State either last year, I think it was, or maybe the year before. I'm pretty sure it was last year, but good man coverage corner. I think like we were talking about cornerback last round, but I think this is another good route to go here with Emmanuel Forbes at corner there. So the next pickup is going to be number 49, and so we'll see who is available at 49. Tell us who you think they should go with at 49.
When he started to mention inside linebacker, that's a really big need right now. So let's take a look at inside linebacker. That would be
just LB.
Pretty good names on here. It's just I don't think I see any right now that would be a great pick except for Henry from Alabama. So let's see if I can think of anything else that we could go for. Maybe inside defensive line.
Maisie Smith would be a good pickup.
I think I agree with that too. I think Maisie Smith from Michigan would be a pretty good pick at that point.
Your thoughts on him?
I like Maisie Smith. I think that he's a good interior guy, and I think he's probably a little bit better. I know they have Gerald Dexter a little bit higher, but I personally like Maisie Smith a little more.
I do too. I like Maisie Smith. I think he's a guy that can stop the run as well, get after the passer at the D tackle position. I think Maisie Smith is definitely the pick here to go. So next pick is going to be 80. The Steelers only have 6 picks this draft, but 4 inside the top 100. So we'll see who we're going to go with here at 80 as we're getting to the pick now. We'll see who's available. And here we go. So what are your thoughts on the 80th pick? Who are you going with here?
Let's see what we still got. It's pretty cool to see that Hooker's still on the board even after 80. Do y'all have any thoughts? I'm still kind of trying to think about where I would go on.
Personally,
here.
I would go with Campbell or Xavier Hutchinson that we saw a little bit lower. I know they have Hutchinson rated a little bit lower, but I do like Hutchinson over Tillman. Tillman's dealt with some injuries and just wasn't really as good as the hype around him was this year for the most part. But I do like Xavier Hutchinson. He's very experienced, very developed. I think he's a guy that could come in and make an impact immediately, but also wouldn't mind the pick of Jack Campbell. Very good linebacker from Iowa, very disciplined linebacker. He also has a lot of experience, and like you said, both those positions are of need.
I think that the linebacker, Jack Campbell, I honestly don't know too much about him. I know more about Delani Hayes, the linebacker from Washington State. I know he's risen up on a lot of boards. So my 2 picks, I do agree with Xavier Hutchinson. So my picks would be between Delani Henley and Xavier Hutchinson. So that's who I would think. But what's going to be the final pick, Colin?
I say I agree with Campbell. He's a very disciplined inside linebacker from Iowa, and I feel like he would be a pretty good pick. Would I maybe pick him before Maisie Smith? Probably. I didn't really see him on the board until now, but I think that would be still a really good pick wherever you pick him at.
I agree. I just don't know if Maisie Smith would last till 80, honestly, though.
Von Miller just went off the board to the Vikings.
Oh, yeah. All right, so 119th pick. Who are you going with here?
I think the best place we could probably also go again is probably offensive line somewhere. Maybe in, let's see if he's still on the board.
Stromberg's fell a lot in this mock draft.
Yeah, he has.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, he's fell a good bit.
I was thinking of Richard Gurridge from Florida, but he might be there he is. I think he would be a pretty good all-around pick for another offensive lineman to pick for the Steelers because, yes, the offensive line did develop during the second half, but we still have holes in where we have for Dan Moore and stuff like that.
I agree. I think offensive tackle could be a pick, and I also think that he's a lot better of a player than 182 where they have him at. Personally, I think I would go with the wide receiver from Houston, Nathaniel Dell. I think he's a big body receiver. He's got good speed, and he's a guy that could be a playmaker on the outside for you. I think that's who I would go with. But what are your thoughts on this one?
My personal opinion, not by much, but I like Raheem Jarrett a little bit better than Nathaniel Dell. I think he's just a little bit better version of Dell. I think Dell's struggled a little bit this year, but I do agree with picking a wide receiver, though. Picking offensive tackle is not a bad slot to be able to go into. You really do need to shore up that offensive line as a key component for Kenny Pickett, who is not the most mobile quarterback. He's not Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson mobile.
Definitely.
Yeah, but he definitely has more mobility to him, which is really good.
And he loves to slide. Well, not slide, I should say.
Sometimes he likes to fake the slide.
And that's why we have the Kenny Pickett rule.
All right, so the next pick will be 235. We're still getting there, about 200 right now.
Who's your biggest sleeper in the draft this year, Lincoln? Who do you think in the late round, 6th, 7th round is?
I like Kenny Logan Jr. from Kansas.
Okay, yeah, the
I like
cornerback,
him.
I think.
Say, I listed at safety, but he can go either way.
Okay.
He can play a little bit of both, but I like him a lot. So at 235, who are you going with here, Colin?
I think that I will go with a sleeper pick. I don't know if y'all will agree with me, but we will need somebody to back up Kenny Pickett. And I think Max Duggan would be a great pick for our final pick to back up Kenny Pickett.
I could see that. Get a good leader, a good locker room presence in Duggan at 235, a good backup, a guy that gives you two options at quarterback. I think if you develop him, he could turn into a solid quarterback to you or for you. Take a peek at the wide receivers.
Not much going there. Maybe Jonathan Mingo, but that's about it.
But that's about it. Not much still left on the board there. TJ Bass, not really a huge fan of him. Look at edge, Robert Beal Jr. I like him a little bit there, but like we were talking about, I think I would go with Kenny Logan. I know he's way down on their board. I think he might actually be gone. I'm not sure.
I think he's gone.
They may have risen him up. I know he was in the 300s the last time I saw, but they may have moved him up. I think if I was going to go with a quarterback, I would probably go with Haener, though. I think he has more potential than Duggan in the NFL. But yeah, I could see a good pick for Duggan. What are your thoughts?
Duggan scared me a little bit in the final game. In the final two games, he didn't play that well, so I personally like Haener better. But Duggan, one of the things that I like in backup quarterbacks is picking guys that are very similar to who the quarterback is. So the same way that Baltimore, their backup quarterback is Tyler Huntley. And Huntley can run most
similar play styles. They have to
Yes.
change the offense dramatically.
Correct. So, and I think Duggan does fit that role. I think Haener fits that role as well, but Duggan does too. So, Max Duggan is going to go off the board at pick 235 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So,
I agree. So that right there wraps up the Steelers draft. With the 17th pick, we took Roderick Jones, the offensive tackle from Georgia. 32nd, Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback from Miss State. 49, Mazie Smith, D lineman from Michigan. At 80, Jack Campbell, the linebacker from Iowa. At 119, Richard Garage, the offensive tackle from Florida. And at 235, Max Duggan, the quarterback for TCU. So that wraps up today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out Chicago Sports Network. You're at how many subs right now?
I'm at 820. I'm 30 away from my goal of 850 by the end of February.
So help him get that for sure. Help us reach our goal of 600 by the end of January. This video may come out after January. I'm not sure, but help us reach 600 subs. We're 19 away. This video is being recorded on the 28th, so we still got a little bit of work to do, but it's not too far out of the possibility. So make sure you guys help us get that goal of 600. Let us know your thoughts and opinions, who you would have liked to see us take, who you would have taken. And hopefully we'll have Colin on with us more, but I appreciate you guys for watching today, and we will see you guys